So we bought this rust bucket, this 1966 Chevy C20 for $1. $1. What are we gonna do with it? Well, I think the better question is, what aren't we gonna do with it? So if you had access to a place like Bang's, would you leave this thing stock? Neither would we.
Built, protected by AMSOIL.
This is a truck we bought to hot rod. Oh, you call that a blank canvas, huh? What is this, the world's longest corrosion test?
So this is our latest project here at Bang's. It is an otherwise hopeless 1966 Chevy C20, and we're gonna drag it kicking and screaming into the 21st century. But get this, we paid $1 for it. Seriously, I'm not even joking. It cost more to register the damn truck than it did to buy it. So we were trying to figure out how this truck came stock, and we didn't have any clue. So we went on eBay and bought a brochure, the original brochure, printed in 1965. This brochure details all the configurations of the truck, and we bought it for only $18, which means that we could have bought 17 more trucks for the same price as this brochure. Fleet-side pickups were offered in 2-wheel or 4-wheel drive, known as full traction. The C10 half-ton, C20 3/4-ton, C30 1-ton pickups all came with 6.5 or 8-foot beds. Notable features of the 66 Fleet-side included double-wall bedsides for added strength. Bed floors were made of select wood planking, and the joints were covered by recessed steel skid strips. Anti-rattle latches kept the tailgate snug when closed, and the chains kept the tailgate level when lowered. And the step bumper was made larger for added convenience. Now the ladder-style chassis, that was impressive. The heavy-gauge channel side rails were joined by Husky alligator jaw cross members to form a solid chassis. The coil spring independent front suspension and low-friction spherical joints were standard. And even more impressive, though, were the 2-stage progressive springs and trailing arm setup in the rear. Another option our C20 was ordered with was the short, single-ended auxiliary leaf springs, which controlled heavier payloads on rough roads. Although several rear axles were available, the C20 came with a full floating unit and a no-spin differential made by Detroit Automotive Products. And surprisingly, the no-spin locking rear differential is still offered today by Eaton. How do we know ours has a no-spin diff? Well, we found the instruction manual under the seat. It's dated 1965. There were 2 gear ratios to choose from, 457 and 411. Unfortunately, we don't know which one our truck has. For the interior, a buyer could choose from a standard cab with color-keyed vinyl seat with deep foam insert, or custom interior with vinyl trimmed fabric, driver's armrest, right and left door locks, chrome-plated control knobs, cigarette lighter, passenger sunshade, horn ring, and there were dealer-installed features available too, including bumper cars, power steering, special mirrors for towing, and more. And in 1966, Congress passed the National Traffic and Motor Vehicle Safety Act, requiring all cars and trucks to have seatbelts. So let me take you for a quick tour around the truck. It's got a lot of rust. I mean, a lot of rust. It's everywhere. It's in the drip rails, in the doors, it's in the bed, interior, exterior. It's got all kind of weird issues. The fuel system seems to work fine. It runs, but when you fill it up, the filler neck leaks and you end up with a cabin full of fuel. The bed is in decent shape, minus the actual floor of the bed, which is destroyed and the wood is rotted, and you can step right through it. I know because I've already done it. The tailgate is working. It works well. Everything is rusted to hell, which we kind of like. Come on inside the truck and see what's new. Originally, this truck came with an AM single speaker radio. Now, it has an AudioVox stereo system that doesn't work. It probably hasn't worked since the late 80s. Is this good? I don't know if any of this stuff, I don't know what it was connected to. We've got turn signals that are aftermarket. We've got a trailer brake control that doesn't do anything, probably hasn't since 1991. We have a whole lot of wires here going to switches that just don't do anything. There's potentiometers, there's dip switches, there's a fuel gauge that's really just hooked to nothing. Now this truck did have AC at one point, which made it very appealing. Again, it doesn't work, half the system's missing. More stuff that's missing. Switches down the dashboard, the speedo, the battery, the coolant temp, nothing works. The only thing that works on the dash is the oil pressure. Air conditioning knobs do function in and out. Of course, they're not connected to anything. The glove box, there's nothing in it. There's no glove box. It's just an open panel. And obviously the upholstery is in tip-top shape. No reason for an upgrade here. Okay, so there seems to be as much rust under here as there is on top. Let's inspect, let's see what we got. So first off, the floor of the bed is completely deteriorated. Well, deteriorated might be kind, it's rotted to hell. It's held down by a couple of 2x4s. I can't imagine that was factory. There's some all thread going through and holding down what's left of the bed. The full floating rear axle, I think, was pretty impressive, but it was actually 1936 when Chevy first introduced the technology on their trucks.
In addition, the rear axle housing on the 1936 Chevrolet truck is 35% stronger. One of the outstanding features of Chevrolet's new full floating rear axle is the barrel-shaped roller bearings, which are entirely self-aligning.
The bushings are completely deteriorated on our panhard bar. The brakes do work fine, so, oh, that's not true. I actually took this to Motor Trend in El Segundo, which is about 35 miles from here, and this right side over here turned red hot and started smoking. Luckily, after it cooled down, we were able to drive it back here, and it seems to be fine. It hasn't locked up since then. So again, pretty impressive suspension on the back of this truck as we move forward here. And by the way, there is a lot of rear diff oil fluid that's coming through here. And it's super, super gritty. I can only imagine what the gears look like inside. I don't know if they've ever been changed. We didn't find any receipts about that.
However, we did find other receipts to tell us how the truck was maintained between 1985 and 2002. For example, in '85, a $663 receipt from Liebsack & Sons Auto Service in Gardena, California, says the pinion and carrier bearings were changed along with the transmission pan gasket and the spark plugs. And in '92, the same shop replaced the U-joints, the front shaft, and center support. They replaced the differential carrier as well, and that bill was just over $1,000. And in November of '99, the engine was replaced, which cost $1,786.76. They also installed a new oil filter, gaskets, thermostat, a radiator, bypass hose, harmonic damper, heat riser, belt, heater hose, lower radiator hose, clamp, spark plugs, and fuel filter, the grand total of which was $3,711.11 and included a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty, which has long since expired. And it appears the LT 245/75 R16 Hercules tires were installed in January of '02. These are 19-year-old tires. No wonder they keep deflating. Also, in January of '02, the water pump was replaced and the speedometer was checked. Who knows what happened between then and now, because it's completely disconnected along with everything else in the dash. And in '02, Major Muffler in Lawndale, California fabricated and installed this custom dual exhaust using 2-inch aluminized tubing, and they put on these nifty mufflers, clamps, hangers, and brackets for $375. But what happened before 1985 and after 2002? We don't have a clue.
2-piece drive line right here, and it seems to be in pretty good condition. Oh, well, no, maybe not. That can't be good at all. Are you seeing this? Let me know, guys, if that's normal on a 66. Saddle tanks on both sides, neither are operational. As far as we can tell, they have water in both of them. How water got in, I can only imagine. There's holes and rust. There's drains on both sides. That'll be interesting. We'll pull these and see if any water comes out of the saddle tanks. The motor mounts look okay. The 3-speed transmission seems to be leaking a little bit here and there, but I guess, again, that's to be expected. There's a fuel pump here that is completely disconnected and very loose. Oh, that is mangled. It's not in good shape. It's not good, right? It's not good. Rubber coming off on your fingers. So what we don't know is what's under all the rust. And I'm not sure, do we want to find out? Do we want to sandblast this sucker? Or do we leave it rusty? We're still trying to determine that. According to a receipt that we found in the glove box, or what's left of the glove box, somebody dropped in a Mr. Goodwrench 350 back in 1999, and apparently it makes between 195 and 200 horsepower, but I'm not buying it. So we're gonna put it on the dyno.
Don't miss the next episode where the guys prepare the truck for the dyno. Not everything goes as planned.
Wonderful. Subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss an episode of Banks Built.